व्यासतीर्थदारदास लक्ष्मीपति व्यासदास ताहा हते माधवेन्द्र पुरी व्यासतीर्थ तारदास लक्ष्मीपति व्यासदास ताहा हते माधवेन्द्र पुरी माधवेन्द्र पुरी वर शिष्यवर श्रीश्वर नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत विभू ईश्वरपुरी के धन्य कोरिले श्री चैतन्य जगत गुरु गौर महाप्रभु ईश्वरपुरी के धन्य कोरिले श्री चैतन्य जगत गुरु गौर महाप्रभु श्री चैतन्य राधा कृष्ण न हे अन्य रूपानुग जनेर जीवन प्रभु श्री चैतन्य राधा कृष्ण न हे अन्य रूपानुग जनेर जीवन विश्वंभर प्रियंकर श्री स्वरूप दामोदर श्री गोस्वामी रूप सनातन रूप प्रिय महाजन जीव रघुनाथ हन तार प्रिय कवि कृष्ण दास दास प्रिय वर नरोत्तम सेवा पर जार पद विश्वनाथ आशा विश्वनाथ भक्त साथ बलदेव जगन्नाथ तार प्रिय श्री भक्ति विनोद महाभगवत वर श्री गौर किशोर वर हरि भजने ते जार मोद परंग हंस गौरांगेर निज वंश तांदेर चरणे मम गति आमी सेवा उदासीन नामे ते त्रिदंडी दीना श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती श्रीवार्षवानवी भरा सेदस्य सेवा परा साहार द्वैत दास नाम वेदांत नामो पतित जनेते दोया धाम। प्रधान प्रचारक श्री भक्ति वेदांत नामो पतित जनेते दोया धाम। नरहरि माधव वंशे अक्षोभ परमहंसे शिष्य बोले अंगीकारे को रे। नरहरि माधव वंशे अक्षोभ्य परमहंसे शिष्य बोली अंगीकार को रे। अक्षोभेरशिष्य जय तीर्थ नामे परिचय तारदास्य ज्ञान सिंधु रे। कृष्ण होते चतुर्मुख होय कृष्ण सेवान्मुख ब्रह्मा होते नारदेर मति। नारद होते व्यास मध्व कोहे व्यास दास पूर्ण प्रज्ञा पद्मना भगति। नारद होते व्यास मध्व कोहे व्यास दास पूर्ण प्रज्ञा पद्मना भगति। नारद होते व्यास मध्व कोहे व्यास दास पूर्ण प्रज्ञा पद्मना भगति। मध्वाचार्य की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रविजयाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रविजयाचार्य स्तोत्र श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्री प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की नाम श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की समवेत भक्तवृंद की ऑल ग्लोरीज टू सिमरन हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू सिमरन हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू सिमरन हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु एंड गौरांग ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री प्रभुपाद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामयं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुश्रीयतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णकरुणासिन्धु दीनबन्धु Jagatpati Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavane Shri Vishavanusite Devi Pranamami Haribhya Vancha Kalpatarvesha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtavatu Srimati Bhakti Vikasa Swami Tune Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtavatu Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tune Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisasa Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so if you can open up Madhya Leela 9:245. So I was preparing for this class for Madhvacarya to speak on a little bit more, but I didn't get so much time to do that. So I'll just read through this purport of Srila Prabhupada and I'll repeat a few things that Bhakti Vikas Maharaj has said in his 2-part lecture about Madhvacarya. I encourage everyone to listen to that if you haven't. I was really ecstatic hearing about the pastimes of Madhvacarya and his different feats and his character. I mean, Vaishnava, a strong Vaishnava. He's the head of our line. So here, okay. Madhvacharya sthane ailayan tattavadi Udupi te Krishna dekhi tahan haila premonmadi. Okay. Translation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next arrived at Udupi, the place of Madhvacharya, where the philosopher known as Tattvavadis resided. There he saw the deity of Lord Krishna and became mad with ecstasy. Purport. Shripad Madhvacharya took his birth near Udupi, which is situated in the South Kannada district of South India, just west of Sahyadri. This is the chief city of South Kannada province and is near the city of Mangalore, which is situated to the south of Udupi. Near the city of Udupi is a place called Pajaka Kshetra, where Madhvacharya took his birth in Shivali Brahmana dynasty as the son of Madhyagya Bhatta in the year 1040, Shakabda AD 1118. According to some, he was born in the year 1160, Shakabda AD 1238. In his childhood, Madhvacharya was known as Vasudev, and there are some wonderful stories surrounding him. It is said that once when his father had piled up many debts, Madhvacharya converted tamarind seeds into actual coins to pay them off. When he was 5 years old, he was offered the sacred thread. A demon named Maniman lived near his abode in the form of a snake, and at the age of 5, Madhvacharya killed the snake with the toe of his left foot. When his mother was very much disturbed, he would appear before her in one jump. He was a great scholar even in childhood, and although his father did not agree, he accepted sannyas at the age of 12. Upon receiving sannyas from Achyutapreksha, he received the name Purna Pragyatirtha. After traveling all over India, he finally discussed scriptures with Vijayotsava, the exalted leader of the Sringeri Math. Vijayotsava was actually diminished in the presence of Madhvacharya. Accompanied by Satyatirtha, Madhvacharya went to Madhvacarya. He was there, he met Vyasadeva and explained his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita before him. Thus he became a great scholar by studying before Vyasadeva. By the time he came to Ananda Math from Badrikashrama, Madhvacharya had finished his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. His companion Satyatirtha wrote down the entire commentary. When Madhvacharya returned from Badrikashrama, he went to Ganjama, where in the bank of the river, which is one of the bank of river Godavari. And there he met with 2 learned scholars named Shobhana Bhatta and Swami Shastri. Later, these scholars became known in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya as Padmanabha Tirtha and Narahari Tirtha. When he returned to Udupi, he would sometimes bathe in the ocean. On such an occasion, he composed a prayer in 5 chapters. Once, while sitting beside the sea, engrossed in meditation upon Lord Sri Krishna, he saw that a large boat containing goods for Dwarka was in danger. He gave some signs by which the boat could approach the shore and it was safe. The owners of the boat wanted to give him a present, and at the time Madhvacarya agreed to take some gopi chandan. He received a big lump of gopi chandana, and as it was being brought to him, it broke apart and revealed a large deity of Lord Krishna. The deity had a stick in one hand and a lump of food in the other. As soon as Madhvacharya received the deity of Krishna in his way, he composed a prayer. The deity was so heavy that not even 30 people could lift it. Yet Madhvacharya personally brought this deity to Udupi. 8 of Madhvacharya's sannyasi's disciples became directors of his 8 monasteries. Worship of the Lord Krishna deity is still going on at Udupi according to plans Madhvacharya established. Madhvacharya then for the second time visited Badrikashrama. While he was passing through Maharashtra, the local king was digging a big lake for the public benefit. As Madhvacharya passed through that area with his disciples, he was also obliged to help in excavation. After some time, when Madhvacharya visited the king, he engaged the king in that work and departed with his disciples. Often in the province of Ganga Pradesha, there were fights between Hindus and Muslims. The Hindus were on a bank of the river and the Muslims were on the other. Due to community tension, no boat was available for crossing the river. The Muslim soldiers were always stopping passengers on the other side. But Madhvacharya did not care for these soldiers. He crossed the river anyway, and when he met the soldiers on the other side, he was brought before the king. The Muslim king was so pleased with him that he wanted to give him a kingdom and some money, but Madhvacharya refused. While walking on the road, he was attacked by some dacoits, but by his bodily strength, he killed them all. When his companion Satyatirtha was attacked by a tiger, Madhvacharya separated them by virtue of his great strength. When he met Vyasadeva, he received from him the Shalagram Shila known as Ashtamurti. After this, he summarized the Mahabharata. Madhvacharya's devotion to the Lord and his erudite scholarship became known throughout India. Consequently, the owner of the Sringeri Math established by Shankaracharya became a little perturbed. At that time, the followers of Shankaracharya were afraid of Madhvacharya's rising power, and they began to tease Madhvacharya's disciples in many ways. There was even an attempt to prove that the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya was not in line with the Vedic principles. A person named Pundarika Puri, a follower of Mayavad, the philosophy of Shankaracharya, came before Madhvacharya to discuss Shastra. It is said that all of Madhvacharya's books were taken away, but later they were found with the help of King Jayasimha, the ruler of Kumla. In discussion, Pundarika Puri was defeated by Madhvacharya. A great personality named Trivikramacharya, who was a resident of Vishnu Mangala, became Madhvacharya's disciple, and his son later became Narayanacharya, the composer of Srimad Vijaya. After the death of Trivikramacharya, the younger brother of Narayanacharya took sannyas and later became known as Vishnu Tirtha. It was reputed that there was no limit to bodily strength of Purna Prajna Madhvacharya. There was a person named Kundanjari, who was famed for possessing the strength of 30 men. Madhvacharya placed a big toe of his foot upon the ground and asked the man to separate it from the ground. But the great strong man could not do so even after great effort. Srila Madhvacharya passed from this world at the age of 80 while writing a commentary on the Aitreya Upanishad. For further information about Madhvacharya, one should read Madhva by Narayanacharya. The Acharya of Madhva Sampradaya established Udupi as the chief center. And the monastery there was known as Uttararadhi Math. A list of different centers of Madhvacharya Sampradaya can be found at Udupi, and their Math commanders are 1. Vishnu Tirtha, Shodha Math; 2. Janardana Tirtha, Krishnapura Math; 3. Vamana Tirtha, Kanura Math; 4. Narsingha Tirtha, Adambara Math; 5. Upendra Tirtha, Putugi Math; 6. Rama Tirtha, Shirura Math; 7. Rishikesha Tirtha, Palimara Math; 8. Akshobhya Tirtha, Pejavara Math. The disciplic succession of Madhvacharya Sampradaya is as follows. The dates are of the born in Shakabda year for Christian year dates and 70 year add 78 years. 1 Hansa Paramatma, 2 Chaturmukha Brahma, 3 Sanakadi Durvasa Jnananidhi Garuda Vahana Kaivalya Tirtha Jnanesha Tirtha Paratirtha Satya Prajna Tirtha Achyuta Prekshacharya Tirtha Sri Madhvacarya, which is 1040 Shaka, and Padmanabha Narahari Madhva Akshobhya Jayatirtha Vidyadhiraja Kavindra Vagisha Ramacandra Vidyanidhi Sri Raghunatha Rayuvarya, who spoke with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rahutama Vedavyasa Vidyadisha Vedanidhi Satyavrata Satyanidhi Satyanatha Satyabhinava Vedanidhi Satyavrata Satyanidhi Satyanatha Satyabhinava Satyapurna Satyavijaya Satyapriya Satyabodha Satyasandha Satyavara Satyadharma Satyashankalpa Satyasantushta Satyaparayana Satyakama Satyeshta Satyaparakrama Satyadhira Satyadhira Tirtha. Wow, ecstatic. After the 16 acharyas, Vidyadhiraj Tirtha, there was another disciplic succession, including Rajananda Tirtha, Vijayadvaja Purushottama Subramanya, and Vyasanaraya, which is from 1470 to 1520. The 19th century Acharya Ramacandra Tirtha had another disciplic succession, including Vibhudhendra, Jitamitra, Raghunandana, Surendra, Vijendra, Sudhindra, and Raghavendra Tirtha. To date, in the Udupi monastery, there are another 14 Madhva Tirtha sannyasis. As stated, Udupi is situated beside the sea in South Kannada, about 60 miles north of Mangalore. Most of the information in this purport is available from the South Kannada Manual and the Bombay, how do I say that? Gazette. So that's information about Madhvacharya and Udupi, the glories of Udupi. There obviously there's a great place of worship of Udupi Krishna. Madhvacharya, us we specifically as the Gaudiya Vaishnavas in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are identified with the Madhva Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, as we sing this song. That's the line that we come in. So Madhvacharya is the Acharya in our line. And specifically Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liked, he's amongst the 4 Sampradayas, he specifically chose the Madhva Sampradaya for its strong opposition towards Mayavad. And specifically, of course, within the Gaudiya tradition, there is the, we have our oneness and difference. Why am I? Achinta Beda Veda Tattva. But Shuddha Advaitam, that there's exclusive difference is what Madhvacharya established, in opposition to the Vasishta Advaita, that the exclusive oneness that Shankaracharya preached and wreaked so much havoc within the Vedic, within the society. Well, there was already havoc there from Buddhism, establishing Nirvisesha, establishing this idea of nothing, that the ultimate goal of life is to annihilate or to commit spiritual suicide. So we see that Shankaracharya came, and Bhakti-Vikas Maharaj mentions in the class that from the fire to the frying pan, basically that's what it was. Although he reestablished Vedic knowledge, he did it on the wrong basis. Shankaracharya, of course, there's a purpose to that, of course, as well, but he did it on the, it basically didn't really help so much. It took people from Buddhism to, it's just another form of, it's called covered Buddhism, in which one just accepts, I am you, you are me, and we're all God, which is this insane philosophy insanity, but somehow using the different nuances of Sanskrit grammar and all of this, Shankaracharya was able to convey this point through Vedanta. And Vedanta exclusively meant study under Shankaracharya. Even to this day, if you mention Vedanta, generally it almost has the Advaita connotation to it. Vedanta, here's Vedanta. So we see that Shankaracharya, he established that. And so there was a difficulty within the world, and often, as we see, sometimes when there's, in the Krishna book, we see that, it was throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that the demigods approach Lord Vishnu for help when there is some calamity within society or within the universe. So the Madhvas, they give a nice pastime in which Lord Brahma approaches Lord Vishnu and praying to Lord Vishnu, there's like, this is going on, there's this Shunyavad, now there's this Mayavad, I know it's not time for you to appear, my Lord, in this world, but can you please do something about this? So Lord Vishnu, he not coming down personally, but he specifically sends Vayu to come as Madhvacarya. We also understand that Madhvacarya is Hanuman in Rama Lila and Bhima in Krishna Lila. And so Madhvacarya is coming. Obviously, both are very great devotees of the Lord. Actually, even my spiritual master mentioned that even Hanuman was known as a great scholar. Whereas Bhima generally is portrayed as not as a scholar, but just as a fighter, that's all. Not being what you may consider intelligent. Although he's a devotee of the Lord, so he's all intelligent. He is the essence of all knowledge. He understands the essence of all knowledge. So anyways, we see that Bhima and Hanuman, both, what do they have in common? They're both strong fighters. They fight for the Lord. They fight. I mean, we hear that pastime is very gruesome for Bhima. He rips out the heart of who? Is it Dushasana? It's Dushasana, right? Dushasana, he rips his heart out and eats it. There, this is a devotee. My Bhakti Vikas Maharaj was mentioning that what kind of, bhakti is very sweet, and the devotees of the Lord are very sweet. So what kind of Bhima, what kind of sweetness? I said, well, it's a different type of sweetness. It's a different type of service to the Lord that Bhima is performing. And there is sweetness there, actually. There's a different type of rasa. And it's like we see Lord Nrsingadev, is different type of rasa with his devotee. Prahlad Maharaj prays, you look so beautiful with the garlands of intestines around your neck. Well, whose intestines are they? It's my father's. How's that sweet? But it's sweet. We hear the descriptions of Lord Nrsingadev, how beautiful he looks, all the blood that's, and Srila Prabhupada, when he was asking the devotees to paint this painting over here that we see, it's like, more blood, more blood, more blood. How is that sweet? Bhakti is all about sweetness, right? I mean, when we pray to Lord Nrsingadev, it's bhakti. Bhakti is characteristic of bhakti is sweetness, soft. But then we see Lord Nrsinga, fierce blood. We see Bhima, blood. I mean, even on the battlefield when they're fighting in Ram Leela, it's all blood. You see that picture downstairs, terrifying picture with Ram and Lakshman tied up and all the arrows. But there's a different type of sweetness within bhakti. So we see that Bhima relished that, sweetened that fighting character. So did Hanuman. And so we see that in Madhvacarya also. We see strength. Actually, Madhvacarya was exhibited, showed many, experts in many fields. Is great, my spiritual master, musician, amazing musician, but it primarily exhibited the pastime of scholar, very scholarly, Vrikodhara, one who eats a lot. And we see that in this, if you go to this lecture, at one point, somebody brings him 200 bananas, huge bananas, my spiritual master mentions. And Madhvacarya, he just had a big meal, And right afterwards, somebody brings a banana and says, "My dear sir, I brought these bananas, so please honor them." And he eats the whole thing. And he tells, "How is it possible that you're doing this?" I said, "In my stomach, there is a very small fire. But that fire is burning so intensely, it's like the fire at the end of, where's that time when the whole universe is ending? What is that? Time of annihilation. And that fire is as intense as that. It's very small, but it's as intense as that." When I heard that, it's like, whoa, this is wild. So Madhvacarya is a very, very, is a pure devotee of the Lord. He's coming to fight for the Lord. We see that prominent aspect of, we see that even within the Gaudiya tradition. There's people think bhakti, we see all of these bogus rascals. It's all love, it's all sweetness, everything is love. That's not what we see in our line at all. We don't see actually our acharyas act like that at all. And smile, what is that? A faraway look and a smile. Madhvacarya just, pounding philosophers, going around defeating people, establishing Vaishnava philosophy. It's a fight, and it's sweet. It's a fight. We see that with our own acharyas, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur beat someone so bad, not physically. It's one thing if you said, all right, somebody beats someone so bad, they, themselves. But, he beat them philosophically so hard that they pass urine and stool involuntarily. You can't walk after that one, you shouldn't walk after that one. But the point being that there's sweetness there. When the acharyas fight for the Lord, it seems even Srila Prabhupada sometimes became fierce in front of a crowd. Can be easily looked at by the mundaners of, this is not bhakti. This is not what devotion is about. This is not how, what is called love. But actually, what does a mundaner know about what love is? What is their definition of love? Is lust, actually. Only a Vaishnava can understand what real love is. Actually, Madhva itself means sweet. So he was saying, just like we have the word Madhu. So, but Madhvacharya, he was a great fierce fighter of establishing the real philosophy of Vedanta. So Madhvacharya, he has many, many pastimes in which he is doing very amazing things. Here Srila Prabhupada mentions a few of them. His taking of sannyas and a few other things here that I remember from what Guru Maharaj was elaborating on a little bit more. A funny pastime here that happens is when he took sannyas. His father, he wanted to take sannyas, and his father prevented him from doing so. And so his father begged him, don't take it. I don't have another son. You're my only son. Actually, the way that Madhvacharya appears is also very special. Of course, all the appearances of all of our acharyas are very special. There's some so-called madman. He climbs on top, on some elevated, I think it's either a pole or so, and he says that in time some great personality will appear, just like some crazy guy, he says that. And that he will be able to establish Vaishnava philosophy all over. Here, I'm trying to find this here because I don't want to butcher the pastime because it's very beautiful. Sorry. Here. I wish I didn't get to put together all the notes from the two classes. Okay, yeah. One day in the Ananteshwara temple, an apparent madman climbed on the flagpole, and in the manner of a madman, he said something which wasn't mad. He said that very soon a great person will appear in this place who will preach the actual message of the Vedas. So shortly after, so his father, which is spelled wrong here, whose name is, what did Srila Prabhupada mention here? So his father, so his mother, she became pregnant, and he was born. And even the astrologers, when they came, that great, he will be a great personality, he will be a great acharya, he will preach the great message of the Vedas, and that local people remember the statements of the madman who had climbed the flagpole of the Ananteshwara temple and made this announcement. So therefore, that's how he received the name. The name given to the boy was Vasudeva, as Srila Prabhupada mentions in that purport also. So here, when the confinement period is over, generally the children don't go out of or the mother doesn't leave a place for a certain amount of time. That period was over. He was first exposed to the sun in different places. It's different in different places, up to 40 days. So here, first outing was to Udupi. That's where, to the temple. And so, here it's mentioned that, so when they were coming back from this temple, they were attacked. They were attacked by ghosts. The party that went to the temple and was coming back was attacked by a ghost, and they started. One of the persons in the party started vomiting blood, and the ghost who had possessed the body of the man. Generally, what ghosts do? They possess a person, and then they speak through that person. Somebody can turn these lights on. So they speak through that person, and he said, "Give me the dust of the lotus feet of this, the feet of this boy, and so that I shall be delivered from this ghostly condition." And then it was done, and then immediately that ghost attained. He was able to go to his next destination. So there was many pastimes like this. So there's many other pastimes. At one point, even as a young child, his mother found it difficult to provide enough milk for him. And at one point, there was a big bag of grains, just grains for feeding the cow, about 40 kilograms. And he just ate it all. It's just 40 kilos, dude. That's like, that's a lot of rice. How many pounds of rice do we go through? That bag is, what is it, 25 pounds? Oh my God. So that's 5 kilos? 10 kilos. So yeah, it probably takes us a good amount of time. And we got a lot of eaters, and we have big eaters. Charu knows how to eat a lot of rice. But you're like a little tiny squirm compared to Madhvacarya, who can eat 40 kilos of rice as a young child. So, exhibiting the pastime as Bhima, he's a ferocious eater. We see that happens a few times throughout here. He often exhibited superhuman symptoms. So those are some of the things. There's a lot more. I wanted to mention that specific pastime here of how he took sannyas, in that he wanted to take sannyas and his father wouldn't let him take sannyas, and he said that there should be once you have a son, if there's you need I don't have another son, so how can you how can you take sannyas? So he agreed, okay, until you have a son, I won't take sannyas. And then I believe shortly after there was a brother born to Madhvacarya. And then at one point his father held onto his feet for some reason. I can't remember the reason. And there's only two. A father or elder never touches the feet of the junior, or the or the one's son especially, unless he's a sannyasi. So when his father touched the feet of Madhvacarya, he took it that, okay, you gave me grant for sannyas, so he took sannyas. So we see that Madhvacarya is expert in many fields, and being a great Acharya of a line, he practically he brought back the proper understanding of the Vedas, as the predictions were there from the beginning when he was born. So we see the Madhvacarya, he diminished Mayavad philosophy. He traveled around establishing this Shuddha Dvaita, that the exclusive separateness of establishing that the jiva is not God, that the living entity is a servant of God. So he's more than a great personality. He's our Acharya. So this is the day of his appearance. Please, I encourage everyone to listen to that class. If you haven't heard it, those 2 classes, it's a good day. Generally, it's good to look on those days of the appearance days of the Acharyas, and try to hear about them, understand. I heard, I just am not able to. There's a lot there, and so I don't have proper systematic way to kind of go through that right now. But yes, please hear that. That line is still going on as we are reading. This is the ecstatic, or the authority of the Vedic culture or the Vaishnava culture that is there and that we can take advantage of. We see that from Madhvacarya, all of the different teachers that are coming down in that line, and that is still established strongly. Actually, Madhva line is still there. So it's important to see how the disciplic succession, evam parampara praptam, that it is going on. Even within the different sampradayas of the Sri Sampradaya and Madhva Sampradaya being the most other 2 prominent, and the Gaudiya Sampradaya is going on also. And at stages we also see that even Madhvacharya, he's faced so many difficulties in establishing proper understanding of the Vedas. At one point, even his books were taken away. He faced so much opposition from the Shankaracharya, the line of Sankaracharya, the disciples of Sankaracharya. But nonetheless, he fought through. We see that in our own sampradaya sometimes, that even within the line of Srila Prabhupada, there's opposition to the principles that he has taught. Or there's even Srila Prabhupada's books being taken away, not being allowed to read, not being allowed to distribute. But nonetheless, if one is subservient to the Acharya and has real great feeling for the establishing real truth in this world, they push on and they establish it independent of whatever social situation is there. So we can take great example from Madhvacharya. We can take great inspiration from Madhvacharya. And our spiritual masters are non-different from everything they're preaching is non-different from what Madhvacharya taught. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtapudra Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. To do what? To defeat this Shunyavad, Mayavad, this impersonalism and what is the other word? Voidism. To destroy these ideas. Srila Prabhupada has come. What is that? That Srila Prabhupada's poem, Thou has removed impersonal calamity.
Absolute sentient thou hast proved,
impersonal calamity thou hast removed. Absolute sentient that thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity thou hast proved. See, this is the non-different to the mission of Madhvacharya. We are following in that line. So we're very much Madhvacharya, I'm sure, that with all the activities that is going on with the preaching of Achinta Veda Veda Tattva, Veda Veda Tattva, the establishment of one's relationship with Krishna, not as being God, but as a servant of God, Madhvacharya is very pleased with the work that is going on in the Krishna consciousness movement. So we can pray to Madhvacharya for strength. We can pray to Madhvacharya to get strength, to establish bhakti, and to establish the Bhakti Vedanta, to give people this knowledge so that they can become free from the ignorance in this material world. And that is primarily we're doing through the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam, thanks to Madhvacarya. He's within those books. Srila Prabhupada has included all of our acharyas within our books. And that have given this proper understanding for people to become free. So Madhvacarya, we can take great inspiration, we can pray for the mercy to have the strength to go on and establish Krishna consciousness throughout the modern society, within devotional circles and outside of devotional circles. So these are some things. I thought I would only speak for a little bit, but it went on a little longer. So is there anything else? Okay, no, I don't have anything else that I've specifically written here. But yeah, if there's any questions or comments, please feel free to ask or discuss if you know anything or if you've heard something from Madhvacharya's pastime. There's also the book, Madhvacarya, that we have that you can also read through. It's a good day. It's a good day to try to, learn about Madhvacharya. Anything?
Hare Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Hare Krishna. This is a brief comment. In a lecture Guru Maharaj gave, it's called Eternal Impersonalism. It was going through all the contradictions and, issues with the Mayavad philosophy. But this is just a small comment. Basically, towards the end, he was making this point of, you made a couple of points about about bhakti, and sometimes externally it might appear that we had the symptoms of that, but if there's not that strong philosophical understanding that is based off of, then it's very likely that we're fooling ourselves and fooling others as well. And the extent to which we have this sympathy for Mayavad and for this impersonalist philosophies, he says, basically we can't have philosophy, we can't have sympathy for Mayavad philosophy and people who accept this philosophy and then also expect that we're close to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, because that's, like he just stated in his pranam mantra, that's very much what he came to destroy. So it's really important that we have this philosophical understanding and propound against that. So I just want to say that.
There's one thing here that's mentioned is that Madhvacharya, he was at the Ananteshwar temple discoursing on Shastra, and among his favorite was Upanishads, on the Aitreya Upanishad, and he passed away at that time. But apparently also some of his followers say that he's still present there. Of course, we also understand that, and like that also that the Vaishnava never, is always there in instruction also. But also his followers say that he's still present there at the place even today, so you can go and offer your respects to Madhvacharya at the Ananteshwar temple after offering obeisance to the deities. So he says apparently it's on the left. If you just go to the left for the parikram of the deities, just around the corner inside a clove, there's the deity of Madhvacharya, and you can pay obeisances there. So whenever we get to get the fortune to go to Udupi, which I really want to do. South.
Yeah.
Udupi is in the south.
It's like
Karnataka. Yeah. So if when you get the opportunity to go over there, we can pay our respects to Madhvacharya. So, static. Yes, bro.
Yeah, bro. I was just thinking when you're talking about the gurus who just kind of look really spaced out when they smile and look in the distance, and you look really senile. But it's really attractive to people who want to be cheated.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking people who it's really who they become offensive. People want to be cheated. They have this idea that someone who's liberated should have because the absolute is beyond this world. Whatever the representative who's related to the absolute should also be beyond or comprehension, so therefore they shouldn't argue, they shouldn't be angry, they shouldn't like, or whatever that may be. So then they often like they perceive that like a genuine sadhu as someone who's under like the modes of material nature, because they like identify anything that that they've seen as attached to that. And when me and Rishi Kumar were reading in this seventh canto, which made me think about this as well, is a question was posed, it seems that Krishna is externally, apparently like partial to the devotees and impartial to the demons because he protects. Sorry. This is I don't remember. This is who is it? The question was posed by who? Anyways, the question was posed. Yeah. This is like after the end of 6th canto, it goes to 7th canto, and then the question is posed. Why does it seem like Krishna's partial to the? Yeah. Yeah, it's an Narada-Muni. And why is it that he seems partial to the devotees and impartial to demons? And then was it Narada-Muni that answers this? And he says basically that like, well, he's not. It's his like he's not partial, impartial, and he's equal because he's absolute. And if you see any like, if you perceive him as being like influenced by the duality of this world, it's only because you're influenced by the duality. So similarly, like anyone who perceives a pure devotee as like being full of false ego, whatever, it's completely because they're full of false ego, And we were talking to this one Mataji at this BMS who was actually initiated for like 10 years by Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And then like, she was really cool first. Yeah, I love Prabhupada. He those plays my heart. She told me da-da-da, but like, and I was in Vancouver and I found a living guru, whatever that means. They call it living guru. And she just hands me like a card of this guy with really greasy long hair. They always have this long greasy hair and they're always, it's really greasy. Like, I don't know what they put coconut oil or it's like greasy like anything. And then like he's like half bald and he looks like he's like about to croak or something. He's smiling, But then I took the role of just like I'm not gonna say anything because I'm trying to do books. But like it was going slow and she came back, and Rishi Prabhu handled it in a really nice way actually, which I was like I'm glad she said something because like someone should. So he was like she told him about this bogus guru and Rishi Kumar was like yeah it's nice and all. But like he's like, yeah, but I just don't know why you had a perfectly bona fide guru, and you kind of just like dropped the ball on that, what happened, and she's like, oh, like you're just being judgmental, you're just being judgmental. This is why I left, this is, you're just being judgmental. And he's like, it's not being judgmental, I'm just telling you had a good guru, But you just see, it's like they think that like someone who's like trying to be the well-wisher is like being false ego and like under the influence. When he's just telling them like you had a perfectly bona fide guru, but because they want to be cheated, it's just like they just like they make offenses and they take the devotees as completely under the influence of material nature.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yeah, people. One thing I've understood about being in Krishna consciousness after that, people are really stupid. Yeah, it's my realization also. So must mean I'm also really stupid, but I realized thanks to the purification that we've undergone, I'm less stupid than I was 10 years ago. But yeah, people really know how to mess their life up without proper intelligence. And people, even I was driving today and I was like, what kind of mode of material nature do you have to be in to live in this area? You drive that area, it's like, what kind of consciousness are these people in? Like how do you even live in like this? Like even living in the area you go there, you feel like, oh my God, I'm about to get, like, it's like this looks like it's some crazy stuff. People can't. It's hard.
Like how does someone get contaminated? Like 10 years of service and then like reading Prabhupada's books. She knew Bhagavad Gita slokas, everything, and then surrenders to a Mayavadi. How does that even happen?
Yeah, they didn't take into heart the real teachings of the Acharya. That's why we're not trying to, as Bhakti Vikas Maharaj says, our goal isn't to get people to chant 16 rounds and follow the four regulative principles and just read Prabhupada's books. That's not our goal. It's a result of the surrender to Krishna. All those things should be seen as a result of surrender to Krishna, not that just because you do that, you're surrendered to Krishna. No. It may be a symptom, but just because you chant 16 rounds and follow the four regulative principles, you may even read Prabhupada's books. But if you don't apply what Prabhupada's books is saying, then asar, useless. It's true. You can read all you want. You'll be a Mayavad at the end of it if you don't have a sincere desire to actually surrender to Krishna. You can develop that by associating with devotees, but still, even association with devotees, you have to have that. And we recite this example often. Me and Madhvacarya Prabhu and Vijayotsava Prabhu were distributing books at a Sai Baba temple about 8 years ago. And when we were doing that, this lady came up. She had the whole Bhagavatam. She said, I read the whole Prabhupada's Bhagavatam. She knew it, not just the Bhagavad Gita, the whole Bhagavatam. But she's Mayavad. And it's like, well, we were like, what the heck is wrong with you? How are you not understanding this? But the illusion, the living entity, at the end of everything, it is actually up to the individual to make the decision to surrender to Krishna. Nobody, it's people can help, anyone, so many people can help you, you can get so many instructions. And the Prahlad Maharaj, that's the verse that comes there, that until, what does he say there? That's quoted in the Nectar of Instruction at the end of the purport there, that the living entity in his state, nobody can help him. Until he decides, unless he has decided to stop sense gratification. Nectar, let me pull this up. I think text 2, text. So yeah, we see. Matena Krishna Parato Sato Va Mito Bhipayate Griha Vartanam Adanta Go Vivrishatam Tamishram Punah Punah Charvita Charvanana. So one who has decided to continue the material existence, their existence in this material world for the gratification of their senses, there is no chance of becoming Krishna conscious, not by personal endeavor, by instruction from others, or by joint conferences. When I read this, I was like, how does this make any sense? Because not by personal endeavor, not by instruction from others, or joint conferences. So you can try your best, or you can even receive instructions from a guru, or you can even be around the Vaishnavas. But unless you've made the conscious decision to stop sense gratification, or continue to exist in this world for sense gratification, then there's no chance of becoming Krishna conscious. That has to be a decision. That can come about, of course, by hearing constantly. But if one doesn't begin to realize, oh, okay, I have to let this go. Or if you're the idea, my career is my devotion service, as Maharaj was mentioning in this verse, that's destroying even the Krishna consciousness movement. My career is my devotion service, so then people just, so many excuses to do so many things in their life that is not Krishna conscious. So one has to make a conscious decision. It is up to the individual to surrender to Krishna. Nobody can force you. And then that's what love is. And that's why even in our own lives, within our own platform of devotion service, like I said, that less stupid than I was before, nonetheless still stupid, because still not surrendering to Krishna, so far from it. Little closer maybe than some time ago. But still there's so many things to get through. And that is all comes down to the desire for sense gratification. Prabhupada says this profound thing in the Krishna book, in his last commentary on his last chapter. Few last verses, or few of the last verses he's commenting upon. He says that in the material world, so in the material world, envy comes in as soon as there is sense gratification. As soon as there is sense gratification, there's envy. As soon as you want sense gratification, immediately there's envy. And the spiritual world is completely free of that, because they don't want any sense gratification. They just want to satisfy Krishna. So these people, they're not looking to satisfy Krishna. They want to satisfy themselves. So whatever satisfies me, I'll go there. But we don't care about that. What is that last verse? Shikshashtakam, how does that start? Ashlishyava padam padar vratam panashtamam darshanan mar mahatam karotava yatha tatava vidadat lampato mat prananathasta sa eva napra. Doesn't matter for us whether you trample me or you embrace me, or we're not here for my happiness, we're here for the happiness of Krishna. And that's what makes us happy. So unless you grasp that early on in your Krishna consciousness, then it's difficult. That's why it's nice to come into association where their devotees are selflessly serving, because it inspires us to also selflessly serve. So, yeah, people kind of miss the point. They miss the point. They come in, we all come in artarti, we come in for this because of distress in our life and all of this. We all come in like that, but we should come up. And that's why, devotees are there to try to, so we can practically see what it means to come up and what. But some people just don't come up. They don't want to come up. They just want to wipe out their stress and then go on in the material world being happy, trying to be happy. So then this is what happens. It's difficult because for us, we're like, well, it's all or nothing. It's trying to stay in that consciousness. It's all or nothing. This is life. This is it, bro. So don't want to be any longer. This is kind of like, this is trying to do it at this lifetime, and it's possible. So you should just give up all and hogwash nonsense ideas of trying to be happy in this world, which is completely useless, and just surrender to Krishna, and there is real happiness, there's real bliss amongst all the different difficulties there may be. Yes, there will be difficulties. There's a lot of difficulties that come in Krishna consciousness, maybe more than what you would have experienced if you were in your material life. Maybe more. Nonetheless, it's worth it. That austerity for Krishna. It's austerity that has proper fruit. That austerity of material life, working under a boss and doing so many things, doesn't have any fruit. Just death, birth, death, old age, disease, that's all. Yes. Is there anything else? Mataji, do you have anything? No? Okay, Charu. Couple minutes.
This will also just be a quick thing. This point of people who can read Prabhupada's books, or they'll read the whole Gita, and then they walk away with their own ideas. It's crazy. This person who this lady who just came and visited the temple.
Oh yeah.
She read the Bhagavad Gita, and she was like, "Yeah, I know Prabhupada." She's like, Krishna consciousness, Christ consciousness. I'm all that. I'm like, okay, where are you exactly? Because I'm like in that, and she's like talking about how she wants to do charity, and she's like, yeah, I'm following my dharma. I'm just like, okay, so she's pulling all these different things that she's hearing get brought up in Prabhupada's book, but then she's walking away with her own idea of how to apply it in life.
Yeah.
Because obviously in Gita, you understand there's charity in mode of ignorance, passion, goodness, who charity should be given to, who are those worthy individuals and whatnot. And there was a lot of other incoherent ideas that she had, and we just discussed the other day about this dharma. If you don't understand what is proper dharma, you concoct your own ideas, and then you think that you're protected within that, but you're outside of it, so you're not getting the protection of dharma actually at all. So anyways, just
one thing I've learned from being in America, you get unlimited opportunities to preach. That's one thing, beautiful thing about America, that Prabhupada very much liked America. And also, coming from Australia, it's Australia, there's also a lot of opportunities there to preach, but America especially is just so amazing. It's wow, this is really the place. If you want to be anywhere in the world, this is the place to be, to preach Krishna consciousness. And one thing I realized is, like I said, people are really stupid, but you really got to be insanely clear. Even when you're clear, people still don't get it. The only way to be happy in this world is to serve Krishna. Yes, service. Service to what? Yeah, serve my community, serve my family. No, the whole lecture was about how that's not the point. The point is that it's all useless if it's not. connected with Krishna and that service aspect, still people won't get it. So what I get fried out is all this other watered down stuff that we hear from people in the Krishna consciousness movement. What the heck are people getting from all this like watered down preaching? When you're preaching straightforward, like exactly as it is, and making it a point to try to make it more clear, people are still not getting it. But then when you water down the philosophy, then what are people getting? What benefit are they getting? How are you different from any rascal that's on the internet saying all sorts of nonsense? So a point from that, like experiences that I've had in preaching at colleges and speaking to students, is that if you just repeat the message as it is, the mercy, even though that person may not take it, and sometimes it seems, oh, they got put off by the, who the heck cares, bro? I did my duty and I stayed very in line with the Acharya. That is my duty as a disciple. Whatever the fruit may come, that's not my problem, boss. That's up to that living entity to surrender. I tried my best from everything that I've gathered from Srila Prabhupada's books, and I didn't do anything wrong. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, whether you like it or not. And if you don't like that, that's fine. But I'm surrendered to the Acharya. I'm sold out. And it's not going to be any different, even if you don't like it. And we should continue that and keep on that mood. Otherwise, you lose yourself and they don't become devotees anyways. Oh, maybe like this and that. And so people just, I've had people read, they've been associated, here in classes regularly, read Prabhupada's books, and they ask the most powerful questions. Like, what's wrong with you? They read the whole Bhagavad Gita, is Krishna's Supreme Personality God. It said, Krishna is a man, right? Dude, are you serious right now? At least philosophically, you may not accept it, that's fine. But approaching it from just a study point of view, even, they don't get it. I don't understand. I don't get it. Maybe I'm the dumb one here, but it's not that hard, right? When you read Prabhupada's books, it's really pretty clear. It's God.
Prabhupada even says in the introduction, even if you don't accept this, at least philosophically look at it from the point of view that Krishna is the Supreme Personality.
Yeah.
In the first couple pages of the introduction.
This is the challenge of the modern world. There's a lot of information. You talk to anyone, they know something about everything, or they can find it in 2 seconds, especially with AI. And AI is so bogus with philosophy. Tell me what the Bhagavad Gita says about this. Probably not what the Bhagavad Gita says at all about that. Even when we asked it to quote from Srimad Bhagavatam, just to play around with it, it pulls up a quote that we've never seen before. I'm like, what the heck is this?
AI is a sahajya.
Yeah. AI is sahajya, yeah. Yeah, it is true. It says some powerful stuff. Apparently now, we've already had this experience. We were speaking about this in Prashadam this morning, or yesterday? This morning, yeah. How AI makes Prabhupada quotes. And one nice temple sent us a quote about what Srila Prabhupada said about running around Tulasi. He told his disciple, in a morning walk, when they were walking somewhere, Srila Prabhupada told them, don't run around Tulasi. Be respectful. Dude, what is going on? And they said, because we're doing Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, and this is bogus. I said, are you, and then we look like, dude, no, it sounds like find quotes from Srila Prabhupada on running around Tulasi. Tell me what Prabhupada said, put it into ChatGPT, probably give you a bunch of quotes. And then you search a database, you search everywhere, and it's not there. And you're going to try to quote that, and it's like, dude, you think we're stupid or something? It's ridiculous. So to not know, because anybody else would probably just go, oh, okay, Prabhupada said, but then to actually verify it and know. This morning, we put it into the ChatGPT. What did Srila Prabhupada, justify women Diksha gurus? And from what Prabhupada said, it literally said, women can be gurus, why not Diksha guru? There's Srila Prabhupada said, yeah, women can take the role of a teacher, but why not Diksha guru? It adds this, but why not Diksha guru? And it's not there. And so like all these things now are coming in, and then we were talking about deep fakes, and now people can't tell from what is real and what is fake anymore in this world. You see a video, it looks like real, but it's not. It's made by AI. The world is becoming like a crazy place for information. And so people just kind of like, it seems when there's a information overload, you just can't process like through simple essential things about life. People can't process that you can pick a fruit of a tree and eat it. You know that? No, they can't process that. If you tell them people can't process that you can drink water that's spring water in the mountains when you're up there and you're hiking or something. You can drink that water. It's fresh. I did that one when we were in Yosemite. We were hiking. There was like this spring water coming in. I drank that. The guy's like, "Oh, be careful, bro." I was like, "It's mountain water. What's the problem?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, you got to get this filter." And I'm sure there's some things like that, but I was just saying, people are so paranoid. They don't even know basically. It's like Guru Maharaj mentioned, food comes from Walmart. People don't know that food comes from the ground. How are people gonna understand? Like, you should try this when you go to the universities. You should ask, have you ever ate a fruit off a tree? You should ask these students. I bet, Chari, did you ever eat a fruit of a tree before? No. See, I thought Charu is my guy because he'd never seen a cow before either. But I never had a mango, so that's how you know if you haven't had a mango. Yeah, but these are the basic things about life that people don't say. Yeah, it's a challenge. I don't know, and then we need to pray that somehow the conditioned souls can get hopefully through the Varnashram. And Srila Prabhupada said that this is what will do revolutionary change, teaching people this knowledge through practical means of Varnashram, showing people how to live. People don't even know how to just live basic life. So hopefully they can enter into the philosophy through that. For me, it was like that also. I didn't understand so much in the beginning. I was really clueless. I read a little bit. I heard from the devotees. I didn't even know we're not the body for like the first year. I really didn't. It took me a while. So sometimes it takes purification also. Okay, sorry, I'm going on. All right. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Madhvacarya ki jai.
I don't think AI had me in my source material to read. Little balanced life, do little yoga and be happy. It's like,
Where is that?